maybe I need a promotion, I need more money, like that's the problem. And I'm looking around at the people that have the promotions and that have the job that I would go into, and I'm like, wow, okay, they're not really happy either. You know?
First, you went through a personal journey, and then that turned into helping others. Like, how did that transition happen for you?
Yeah, so I mean, I went through that whole transition where I felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was never going to get ahead with money. I felt like I was drowning in student loan debt and I would never be able to buy a house and, pay for a wedding and be financially stable enough to have kids. And I was able to figure out how to win with money, and I was able to turn that whole thing around. And I thought it was kind of common knowledge, right? I thought it was just me that was feeling that way. And I think this is actually part of the problem, is so many people think it's only them that are struggling financially, and it's only them who are feeling, stressed under all of their debts or their loans or their credit card payments, and they're not really sure what steps to do next. Then when I realized that actually so many people are struggling with a similar thing, because I kept having, friends and family members come to me and ask me, Nicole, how are you able to do this? I realized that there are so many people struggling with it, and that so many people actually could benefit from this.
Did something happen in your life that you decided to say, enough is enough? I need to start really looking into my own finances. Can you take us through the early stages of how you got started on your own personal journey and what was happening in your life at that time?
This goes back to even just like my home and my family life, where I know my parents always really struggled with money while I was growing up. And I always kind of thought that that was just normal, that people just struggled financially, and that's just kind of how the world was. So for me, I was like, how do I try to make sure that I don't have to live through that same financial struggle? The overarching advice from society really is to go to school, get a degree, and get a corporate job. And that's how you're going to be set, right? You got to get the big corporate job, the 9 to 5 with the office and all that stuff, and then you'll be good. So I put all of my energy into, going to school. I put myself through school, did university, got the degree, graduated, got the corporate job. I'm like, yes, okay, now I'm going to have all the money and all of the happiness and all of the things. And then I got there and I was like, wow, I don't have any of those things. I just have a lot of student debt and a lot of stress, and I don't know how I'm going to actually get the things that I want in life. And I started looking around at the people around me, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe my problem is that I just haven't made it yet. Maybe I need a promotion. I need more money. That's the problem. And I'm looking around at the people that have the promotions and that have the job that I would go into, and I'm like, wow, okay, they're not really happy either. They don't
Right.
really, they're still stressed, and they still got student loans, and they're still having trouble getting into the housing market. So at that point I was like, well, maybe the way that I've thought about everything actually is just wrong. And I'm a big proponent of taking what society tells you and questioning it and kind of turning it on its head. So that's what I did. I went back to the drawing table. I was like, what is a better way to do this? How can I? And that's when I realized that a lot of, the traditional advice actually, I believe, leads people astray. A lot of the traditional personal finance advice isn't actually helpful. And the way to get ahead is not by restricting yourself and budgeting and making yourself feel like crap and you have to make more money, when in reality you could actually be rich making $40,000 a year and broke making $100K. It's all about what you do with it. So I went down that journey. I learned everything I could about personal finance, investing, real estate. I was able to pay off my debt. I had $40,000 of student loans. I paid those off in 18 months. And then from there, built a $500,000 net worth in my 20s, which has now grown to over $1 million at 30 years old.